Good morning, everybody. How's it going? There we go. I'm Kartik, one of the co-founders of ETHGlobal, and I want to officially welcome all of you to Pragma in Denver. This is our first in-person event of 2024, and I can't wait to share what we have in the books for the rest of the year with all of you today. Now, this is a conference. If you've been part of the ETHGlobal ecosystem, you know that we do two things, and just those two things: hackathons and summits, both in-person and async. And Pragma is our series of in-person summits that help us talk about the future. So today is going to be about everything that we're excited about in this space and what we think you should be excited about too. Now, every Solidity developer knows that a smart contract starts with the word Pragma. It's not just the beginning of a developer's journey. For us, this whole event is a call towards pragmatism. The goal for Pragma is to help unify all the different things that are happening in the space and really communicate them effectively so you can just look at one source and understand what is something that you should be keeping up with. And all that to make sure that we could get to bring all of this thing to a much, much wider audience. And this is how it's different. Pragma is a single day event and single track, which means we're not going to confuse you with too many things happening in parallel. Anything that we're going to talk about today will be on the stage, just a stage. So no parallel talks. This also is a founders-only event. What we want to do is want to make sure that you get to hear what everybody's excited about at the top level of all these protocols and products and entities and foundations and organizations that are going to be on stage today. This gives you the direct feed into what everybody's thinking and how they're thinking about it. And not only that, how are they thinking about it with respect to everybody else in their space too. You'll see a lot of different panels today that have people working on anywhere from complementary to competing things. And the goal here is to actually make better decisions so all of us can benefit. And explicitly, the focus is on the future. We're going to use some of the stuff that's happened in the past, retrospectively look at it, understand how certain things were done, what should be done again, what should not be done again, but use all of that to make better decisions about the future. And because we get this thing a lot, we're keeping it mostly non-technical, which means there'll be some instances where you will hear some acronyms or terms that you may not be aware of, but you don't have to understand how Zk circuits work. You don't have to understand how MEV works. We're going to abstract that away from you, and you get to enjoy things at a very high level. And if you choose to learn more about those things on your own, you get to kind of dive deeper. But we'll kind of keep mostly 90% of it non-technical. Now, because this is a single day event, the goal here is to keep things very focused. So there'll be just two talks today. And by that, I mean two people giving you an actual presentation with slides. Two talks, 3 panels, and 7 interviews. All the interviews are going to be one-on-one chats, and we get to directly dig into what we think is interesting, what the founder on the other side thinks is interesting, or what you've asked us to ask the other speakers in all your applications. So very simple, concise focus on today. And all of you would have gotten this card at check-in. If you ever want to understand what's happening today in the schedule, you can flip on the other side. You'll get to see all the speakers, the talks, the times, and everything else. And if you don't have that card, that's fine. You can still grab one, but all of it is also on our website, and everything is kept up to date, and that's the source of truth. Now, I want to take a quick second and talk about the audience. This, of course, is one of the biggest events in the world in Web3. This is happening this week, and we have over 420 people from 39 different countries attending Pragma today. So we're going to see a lot of people from all different parts of the world excited about all the different topics. And I also want to thank some of our incredible partners who kind of helped make this event possible. So I want to thank Avail, Laplace FinTech, Mercurio, Near, Inco, Panther, and kickoff services. You get to also see a lot of them here and talk to them about what they're working on, what they're excited about, and really learn from the things that they're curious about as well. But the thing I wanted to talk about was this thing you may have heard. This is the Denver Pack. We launched this thing last week. It hasn't even been a week yet. And it blew us away because we got more reception and more attention than we thought we would. And I want to thank everybody who purchased the pack and is here. There's already over 100 people that are here that I counted before going on. And I want to thank you for doing this. For those of you who are not familiar with what this is, well, this is a new primitive that we think is going to be super useful to all of us in this space. A pack is a collection of experiences that you can experience in this space, on-chain or off-chain, and they're designed based on what is happening in the world. The Denver pack, particularly, was a collection of these perks, anywhere from a free Pragma ticket to Uber credits to getting eSIM if you're coming from outside the world, outside the States, to access to 7 other events that are happening this week that are just curated by us. You can get guaranteed access to all those things, and of course, a physical copy of Chris Dixon's Read, Write, Run book, which you can still claim at the front desk if you bought a pack. So we said, let's just see if we can pull this off. And turns out that a lot of people liked it, and a lot of people gave us a lot of feedback on how we can improve this. And in terms of just thanking everybody, I want to make sure that you get to contribute to making this thing even better for the next one. But the thing that we didn't do a good job of reminding everybody, which I want to take 10 seconds on, is that for us, it really is a new primitive. We think that this can actually help make a lot of the experiences in this space really, really interesting because it's designed to work both on-chain and off-chain. And not only that, it is meant to be open. This is very extensible. And that means the first one was us just figuring out what would people want, but it's an NFT that you can own. You can anywhere from do gating on your own to tell us to add a perk or come up with a different way to redeem something on your own. You get to play with it as developers, and having 100,000 developers in the ETHGlobal ecosystem, I can imagine how crazy things are about to get. But the best part about all of this thing was we just thought we'll just do 14 events and 14 perks and we'll just kind of launch this thing. But people started coming up to us and saying, can I add this to your pack? And the best thing about this thing is that yes, the answer is yes. The way to do it is even easier. And something just like that happened in the last 24 hours. So this morning, we officially integrated the Clave Wallet as an official perk. And if you are going to be at Denver this week, you're going to definitely see this wallet because this is how you're going to be thinking about interacting with everything at that event. But as a pack holder, you can now just go on our packs page and just get 15 USDC. Just offered by Clave. And thanks to Clave, you get to experience this thing and spend this however you want. This is actual real money. And it took us an hour to get this integrated. So just head over to ethglobal.com/packs and check out and claim this perk. Thanks to Clave, which also was one of the projects coming out of ETHGlobal a year ago, and it became a company and is now officially powering everything at Denver this week. So that's an amazing story. So we had 2 packs, a hacker pack and a Denver pack. Obviously, you are here from the Denver pack, but the hacker pack just lets anybody who's ever participated in any of our events just claim any free faucet testnet tokens. So you can just register for that as well on our website. But the thing I'm excited about before we go into all of our talks, of course, is the new one we're launching today, and that's the London pack. In 2 weeks is our first in-person hackathon of the year, ETHGlobal London. And we get to do these things again and better and do a lot more. So this is the official London pack. In addition to similar things that you had experienced today, you will get access to other events happening in London that week. And for all the hackathon goers, we're also giving you a gym pass that you get to actually use in a different city if you're coming from outside. And of course, the best one and the most requested one has just been, of course, the eSIM, because now you can travel from any part of the world and make sure you have coverage. So check out the London pack. Everything is all on our packs website. You get to see all 3 packs. Just play with them. If you have any feature requests, if you want to extend them yourself, or you want to do cool things with it, you're more than welcome to. And if you want to give us that feedback, that's even more helpful. So enough of that. One last thing I will say, though, is this is going to be a big effort here. So we're also hiring a lot of engineers to help make packs even more extensible. So if you're interested in a role at ETHGlobal, check out our careers page. All right, context switch. Let's go back to Pragma. The goal here is to cover everything happening in this space and the things that we think you should care about. So today we're going to start off with a talk from Josh to talk about atoms, institutions, and blockchains. And then I'm going to give an overview of everything else. So bear with me for a second. We're going to bring on Jesse from Base to talk about how do we get to a global on-chain economy and what ingredients are missing. Then we're going to have a panel discussion on how do we think about L2s and L3s. Should there be an aggregated approach? Should there be a stacked approach? Should there be a monolithic approach? All that is going to be hashed out with the founders of Polygon, Celo, zk-Sync, and Arbitrum, or Offchain Labs. We're going to take a quick lunch break, of course, and we're going to come back and talk about privacy-enhancing technologies. So how do we actually do applied homomorphic encryption and MPCs, and how do we actually make that practical for building apps? Then we're going to have a talk and an interview with Juan Benet from Protocol Labs on interplanetary consensus. There's a new mechanism they're looking at to enable a lot more scalability on blockchains. And then we're going to also have a chat with Henry from Privy on how do we actually make really good wallet experiences and how do we bridge that and get more users in the space. Then we're going to go into a panel discussion on open source AI and how do we actually leverage what we're doing in crypto, the primitives we have access to, anywhere from data to compute, and make that better than what we have alternatives for. And then we're going to see a second talk of the day, which is on an analysis of what's happening with privacy and how regulation and just implementation of different curves is kind of not going maybe according to track and why, and what can we do about it. And then the last two things are going to be a fireside chat with Scroll. We're going to cover how the launch of Scroll has been so far and any lessons learned on launching a ZK EVM. And last talk of our day will be a fireside chat with Sriram from EigenLayer. And we're going to talk about everything that could go wrong with EigenLayer. And that's going to be a fun one. So stick around for the last one, and we'll kind of play a very interesting role on fighting each other on, I don't believe you, and this is how it should work, and the other side also saying the same thing. So all that, again, is also on our website. I will shut up now and bring on our very first speaker. Without further ado, please welcome Josh from the Ethereum Foundation to talk about atoms, institutions, and blockchains.